Hi there, I'm Shirley, and today we're going to dive into some of my favorite memories and thoughts relating to the video game Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. You'll hear me rant about the morality system, a catastrophe I got myself into on Tatooine, Azula Cameos, cosplaying, the dark truth about Trask, and more. So stay tuned for an exciting video that I had a lot of fun putting together. And I'll also make sure to introduce the game in case I have anyone watching who's not familiar with it, so don't worry. To be honest, I don't really have any friends in this fandom outside of my dad, and don't get me wrong, my dad is cool.
If being a Star Wars nerd makes you cool, then yeah, sure, I'm cool.
As great as my dad is, I kinda wanted to find more people who love this game, and maybe even people who are interested in playing the game for the first time. So I hope you enjoy this video. Since I figure it'll be on the longer side, I've put timestamps in the description for you to navigate around different topics you're interested in. If you have any thoughts on KOTOR or any other game you like, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear them. So let's start with some background about the game itself and how I got into the game. So for those who aren't familiar, Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic, or KOTOR for short, is a Star Wars RPG video game from 2003 that takes place roughly 4,000 years before A New Hope. You play as a Republic soldier who's woken up with no memories, and it's up to you to gather a party, master the Force, and defeat Darth Bad Guy to stop a giant Death Star, Starforge. And I've loved this game since I was a kid. When I was 8 years old, I saw my dad playing KOTOR, and while I knew nothing about Star Wars at the time, after seeing all the lightsabers and aliens, I knew I really wanted to play. And because I first played the game at such a young age, I have a lot of nostalgia looking back on it, which I appreciate. The speed paint here is me finally making a drawing for my take on the main character. I based it around the character I played as in my first playthrough, so her design ever so slightly resembles this character portrait. What's their name, you ask? Since again, my first playthrough was when I was 8, and I was probably learning about habitats or something in school. As a result, I named her Savannah. She's light side aligned because that's how I usually play, though I have done a dark side playthrough before with the first game, as painful as it was. The light and dark side system itself is pretty cool, in how your actions affect the overall outcome of the game, your relationships with other characters, and your appearance. If you go really dark side, you can get like this cool Sith looking appearance. You look super evil and it's great. While you think the morality system would be nuanced and deep, it's actually pretty simple. You get light side points for being a decent human being, and dark side points if you are a full-on jerk. I remember in my first playthrough, I accidentally clicked on a dark side dialogue option, and that was not a fun experience. A woman on Terrace was begging Savannah to spare her life because yes, she might be working for their enemies, but she's just a chef. And I accidentally clicked on, well, I'm gonna kill you anyway. And I had to fight her to the death and saw the angry little dark side symbol telling me I was a bad person, and knowing myself at the time, I definitely panicked and probably cried my eyes out. And because as a kid I didn't make good use of the save feature, I didn't think to load my previous save and just redo the whole conversation so I wouldn't have to fight her. So that was not fun for my little 8-year-old self. I was actually pretty bad about saves in general, because at the time I didn't know much about video games outside of the Wii. And with Wii games, you don't really have to save as much as you do with this kind of RPG. As a result, I got myself into quite the disaster on Tatooine. Picture me this. You're on Tatooine, going to visit the Sand People for the first time. You've heard they're a bit hostile toward visitors, but you're gonna visit anyway because you need to take something from them for plot reasons. You don't stop anywhere in town to prepare for the journey, which means you didn't go to the droid shop to buy an translator robot, who could easily negotiate with the Sand People and convince them to not attack you. So, you venture into the Dune Sea, without a translator, and with a party consisting of none other than yourself, a blue 14-year-old, and a literal Roomba, because those are your favorite characters. You didn't even consider bringing the Jedi with years of experience or the buff Mandalorian guy because you just didn't like them as much. Long story short, I died. I died bad, and because I wasn't saving my progress as an 8-year-old, when Savannah reawoke, she reawoke where the game had previously autosaved, which was really far back, across the Dune Sea. I was so upset. I tried to get my dad to fix it for me, but he told me all I could do was start saving my progress more often from that point. I was still bummed out though, so much, that I had a nightmare that night. Don't remember what it was, but it was probably Star Wars related. It's okay though. Ever since then, I learned to start saving my progress in RPGs, and to this day I haven't gotten into that bad of a situation. Oh, I thought I'd mention this because I'm really into Avatar: The Last Airbender, so I assume some of you like it too if you follow my things. Azula's voice actress, Grey Griffin, voices some side characters in this game. And because this game is from before Atla came out, she uses the Azula voice for some of them. Imagine you're just minding your own business in the Terrace Upper City Cantina, when suddenly you hear,
Nice outfit. I've seen outcasts in the Undercity who dress better than you. It's a good thing a few of the Sith come in here to relax when they're off duty.
I didn't ask to be assigned to this backwater planet, but I try to make the best of it. Some of us junior Sith officers are having a party tonight to blow off some steam. I'd really like to see you again.
I have so much more of an appreciation for the voice actors in the game now. I might have to replay the game again just to find all her characters. It's not just Grey Griffin's characters that make the game great though. One of the best things about the game overall is the party and the characters you meet along the way. They all feel really fleshed out, and each party member feels so unique. The cast is pretty diverse, with different heights, species, home planets, skills they specialize in, and their willingness to open up when something is obviously bothering them. There's even a lesbian character. As a lesbian myself, it's pretty cool seeing representation in a game I got so attached to, especially since it's from a time when there wasn't as much queer representation as there is now. And what can I say? Gotta love lesbian catgirls with redemption arcs. There's also a lot of fun banter based on which party members you take with you, so there's a lot more to the game than meets the eye. I think what makes this game so special is how they really use the universe to their advantage and made interesting teams in both the first game and the sequel. All the characters have different upbringings. As you learn more about them, it really expands the Star Wars universe. Also, I'm gonna say this here just because it's in the middle of the video, and it's a hot take, so please don't come after me, but I genuinely like this game more than the movies by a landslide. The characters here feel more developed, and the plot's more interesting, even though it follows that same standard structure of a Jedi trying to stop Darth Bad Guy from blowing up planets. I think what makes it even more fun is you get the opportunity to explore the world yourself, and be a part of it, and look in every corner. Speaking of getting to know the world better, part of the game literally involves memorizing both the Jedi and Sith codes because you visit both the Jedi Enclave and the Sith Academy during your journey. And I am embarrassed to say that I have a better memory of the Sith code than the Jedi code. I think it goes something like, there is no peace, there's only passion. With passion I find strength, with strength I find victory, with victory I find success, with success I find power, and with power my chains are broken, the Force will free me. Or something like that. I don't know, that's just easier to remember than the Jedi code because the Jedi code is like, there is no this, there is that, there is no this, there is that. And it's so repetitive and there's no linear flow. The Sith thing is like a cute little pyramid scheme, you know? It's easier to remember. Wait a minute, the structure of the Sith Academy literally is a pyramid scheme. Oh my gosh. Imagine you just open your Instagram, instead of like multi-level marketing scams you get, hey, wanna join the Sith Academy? If you join now, and you get more people to join, you'll be higher up in rank, and you'll be super, super forceful. I don't know. God, imagine if that's how they recruited you to join the Sith Academy. But yeah, since I have a better memory of the Sith code and the Jedi code, maybe I am more cut out to be on the dark side. Wahahaha. Anyway, I've actually cosplayed as a character from this game in the past. In 3rd grade for Halloween, I was still obsessed with KOTOR, of course, so I wanted to be Darth Revan without their mask. And I made my dad help me figure out a costume. We ended up getting a Clone Wars Anakin costume, and just didn't wear the mask, so that way I could still be my Jedi self. The best part about the costume was that it had an openable and closable lightsaber that lit up. I can't properly express how freaking cool I felt trick-or-treating that year, even if no one actually knew who I was when I said I was Revan for Halloween. If I could cosplay anyone from KOTOR now, I would probably choose Bastila, A, because I wouldn't need a wig, but also because I'd get to have a double-bladed lightsaber with the cosplay. She's so freaking cool, and like, it'd be so cool to get to be Bastila for a day. My second choice would be Visa Smar from the second game, because she's also really cool, but I feel like it might get a bit annoying with the whole eye covering thing, as unfortunately I can't see well using the Force. Or my own eyes, for that matter. I'm really sorry, I couldn't resist making a glasses joke. This is completely unrelated, other than still being KOTOR related, but I have a theory, and it's a stupid one, but hear me out. I don't know if anyone else has made this theory, but Trask Olgo, he's great. In the tutorial section, he literally sacrifices himself to protect a bunkmate who can't even remember his name. But I think there was a deeper reason Trask had to die in the first 20 minutes of the game. What's that reason? This man, this legend, knows too much to survive the tutorial arc. What do I mean, knows too much? Well, Trask is one of the few characters who gladly breaks the fourth wall to tell you how to move using the arrow keys, how to level up characters, etc. What if Trask is fully aware he's in a video game? Other than Karth once or twice, most of the characters don't break the fourth wall that blatantly and unapologetically. But Trask consistently breaks the fourth wall, suggesting he knows he's in a video game, isn't afraid to admit it, and perhaps even knows more about the player character than he's letting on. So what if Trask had to die in the tutorial because he knows too much? The plot can't have characters running around knowing they're in a video game. That would ruin the story and the suspension of disbelief. So maybe Trask just knew too much to have a chance to survive. But hey, that's just a theory. A KOTOR theory. I don't actually believe in this one, but I thought it was funny. Make of it what you will. It's pretty sad though. You don't expect to lose Trask when you first meet him, and he's so friendly. Honestly, he's so underrated. Speaking of things you don't expect to happen in the plot. The twist. Dun dun dun. The second time I played KOTOR was when I was 13 going on 14. Now this goes into spoilers, so go to this timestamp if you don't want to be spoiled. By the second time I played the game, I had forgotten the big twist. Somehow. My dad assumed I remembered what the twist was, and I did too. But somehow, I falsely remembered it as being that all this time, while the party was exploring the planets and mastering the Force, Darth Malak was Savannah's father. Like a whole Savannah, I am your father moment. So when I got to the actual twist, I was surprised again. Okay, we're finished with spoilers. Welcome back, welcome back. I am so excited for the new content being made for this fandom. First, we have the KOTOR official remake, and I'm so excited to see how it turns out. It's gonna be so cool. And I'm also super excited for the show adaptation that's being made by Unreal Cinema. If we're being honest, I was originally convinced Lucasfilm would just take it down like they've done with other fan projects. Period. But they kind of gave Unreal Cinema permission to make it, so I'm really excited. And the voice actors they chose sound amazing. It's gonna be so good. And in terms of making things for the fandom, last year I made a little animatic with all the characters you get in your party. And it was one of my first animated videos I'd ever made, which is why it feels like a PowerPoint presentation. But I had a lot of fun drawing everyone in my art style. And this isn't final, so don't get too excited, but I have a concept for another KOTOR animatic that I'm thinking of maybe making this year. So stay tuned. After my second time finishing the first game, I tried out the sequel. I'm not going to rant too much about the sequel of the game, but I still think the sequel was cool because of all the villains, and the world in it felt much bigger and less linear. When I first played the sequel, I couldn't figure out for the life of me what was going on. I had to go to the Wikipedia page to understand the overall plot and Mitra Sorik's role in that timeline. And in my first playthrough, I made the mistake of going to Nar Shaddaa last. Canonically, I think that's supposed to be one of the first planets you go to. I was so confused as to what was going on and why it was such a long planet while all the other ones were so short. But I might have to replay the game sometime. I especially love the way every time you board the Ebon Hawk, there's a little cutscene where you see the characters interact with each other. It really makes the world feel bigger and makes the characters feel so well written. I love it so much. My one complaint. I don't know if it's petty or if it's a valid complaint, but my one complaint about the sequel is, if you use a female character, which I prefer to play as, you don't get to have Brianna on your team. So I don't know much about her to this day. Instead, I was stuck with this handsome looking guy, Mikal, I think is how you say his name. He is called the Disciple in the game. And if I remember correctly, all he really does is just tell you you're great every 2 seconds. No hate for him, he doesn't suck. But, you know, Brianna just seems more interesting to me. And I didn't realize she could be on my team until my dad mentioned her. Brianna's got backstory, Ichani training, all these half-sisters, and personally knows Atris. There's so much about her that I don't know, so I might have to replay as a guy or use a mod or something if I want to learn about her and see how she fights. Also, when I was writing the script of this video, I found out that Brianna is also voiced by Grey Griffin. I could have had Ichani Azula on my team, but no! I just had to play as a woman so they could write in this weird love triangle thing where Atton's all salty that you're talking to another guy because how dare you? Got a little worked up there. Long story short, this game is awesome. Ignoring my previous rant. I know the aesthetics of the game look pretty old, and that's because they kinda are, but I still think it's worth playing. What the game lacks in pixels and polygons, it makes up for in character and story. And if you wait for sales, you can get it super cheap. Like, I was able to get a copy of the game on Steam for like $2 at their end of the year sale. I needed to buy a new copy of the game because the disc version that we've had for like forever started not working. Like, it would crash during cutscenes. I was trying to fix the bugs for my brother when I finally convinced him to play. And unfortunately, in the process of doing all the things the internet told me to fix, I accidentally deleted all his game progress? And I still don't forgive myself for that to this day. At least now I have a version of the game that will hopefully not spontaneously crash, so maybe I won't have to go and accidentally ruin someone's experience with this game. Gosh, that was a lot. I had a lot of fun writing this script. I got to look back to why I love this game so much. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this game, so it's not just me shouting into the void. And because I want to know more people who like this game. And I hope you like how my drawing of Savannah turned out. I actually referenced the world map when I was trying to figure out where to put the planets in the background, so that was a lot of fun. And I really decided to go all out with the shading, which I really enjoyed. That's about it though on my rants about KOTOR. For now. I'm also planning on getting into Dragon Age Origins, since I never played it, but it's supposed to be pretty similar in terms of gameplay, and my dad recommended it to me. So maybe after I play Dragon Age, I'll make a video about that too. Or a meme animatic, you never know. But for now, I think I'll sign off. Thanks so much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe if you'd like to support me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Oh my god, my voice died on that one.
I am pretty cool.
And the dark truth about Trask, Ordo. Wait, that's Canderous, or it's Olgo, I think. I cannot doing that with full volume because if my floor mates hear me, they're gonna judge me.